Hello everyone and welcome to another week of indie game development, and this week I plan on adding dolphins into Equilinox, and I also want to do a bit more work on the creative mode for the game. So first up to date, I'm just going to get straight into it, and I'm going to get started with making the models for the dolphin species. Quarter to 10 now, just finished making these models for the dolphin, which I'm pretty happy with. It went quite well. So I'm just going to get these exported from Blender and get them loaded up into Equilinox. The dolphins are now loaded up in the game, and you can see some swimming around in this tropical area here. And at the moment they're just using some very basic fish settings, but I'm just about to get started with programming their AI and their dolphin movement. First up, I've been working on the general AI of the dolphin, which determines how it moves around in its area, and very basically the dolphin just generates a random point in its area and it then swims to that point, and when it reaches that point it generates a new random point and swims to that, and so on. The only thing I had to be careful of is that when generating the point I had to make sure that there's no land in between, and I also tried to make the dolphins prefer to choose points that are further away so that they spend more time swimming in straight lines, for reasons which I'll explain later. But yeah, I planned that all out, then I implemented it into the code, and that's all working nicely now. So the main reason that I wanted the Dolphin AI to choose nice long straights is so that it could do this diving in and out animation while it's going in a straight line, because it doesn't work that well when it's going around corners. And to implement this I took quite a physical based approach. So when the dolphin's in the water I apply an upwards acceleration, which causes the dolphin obviously to go upwards and come out of the water, and then when it exits the water I stop applying that acceleration and just let gravity take effect, which causes the dolphin to arc back into the water, and then when it re-enters the water I start accelerating it upwards again, which stops it from sinking too far and then obviously propels it back out of the water for another jump. So that's all working quite well at the moment. It's just the very basics though. You can see there's still lots of problems with it and lots of stuff to fix in the next few days. But for now I'm going to stop for today, and I'm going off to a friend's house to watch the next episode of Game of Thrones. Tuesday morning, and today I'm going to be working on the creative mode for Equilinox, which is going to be out in the next update. And there are going to be two different types of creative mode, and one of those is going to be basically just a low poly scene building mode. So you can just place animals and plants wherever you want. They're fully grown, they don't have their usual life cycles, so they don't die, they don't reproduce. You just create a nice scene. The problem at the moment is that you can't really use any of the genetic modification stuff to change the traits of your plants and animals, because the way that this usually works in Equilinox is that you modify one of the traits, but these modified traits only get passed on to the offspring. The modifications don't actually affect the animal itself. So what I need to do today is to allow the genetic modifications to actually affect the animal itself and not just its offspring. And this is just for the creative mode. This isn't going to change anything in the normal game mode. Just coming up to 11 o'clock, and as you can see I have now got the trait editing working in creative mode, and that's allowed me to create all sorts of different crazy animals and plants here. So now if I edit the traits of this camel here, you can see that I can change the colour and it takes effect straight away. Same with the size, I can make it small immediately, and that's all working nicely. And I think the next step is to allow the user to duplicate entities, because at the moment if I wanted to create a whole herd of these gold bouncy sheep, I'd have to edit the traits of every single sheep in that herd, when it would obviously be much easier if I could just duplicate this gold sheep here. So that's what I'll work on this afternoon, but for now I'm going to stop for my lunch break and go for a run. So I've started work on the duplicating functionality, and I've got a lot of the basics done in the code now. So you can see that I'm able to duplicate this brown goat here, and all of the clones have the same colouring, they have the same bounce trait. They're just exact duplicates of the original. So now I just need to create a nice user-friendly way to allow the player to actually access this functionality. So I've been working pretty much all afternoon on the duplicating stuff, and it is now basically working. So we've got a chicken here, and I'm just going to edit its traits. So I'm going to change the colour to lilac. I'm also going to make it quite a bit bigger, and I'll also increase the speed as well. So we've now got a fast, large lilac chicken, and if we want to have more of them, we can now just click on it, click the duplicate option, and that now allows you to place as many of them as you want in the world. And as you can see, all of the traits have been duplicated as well. And this works for anything. This works for plants as well. So if there's a certain flower with a colour that you like, you can just duplicate that and have as many of them as you want in your world. And of course, again, this is just for the creative mode in Equilinox. It's not for the normal game mode. "8:30 on Wednesday morning, and today I'm going to be back to working on the Dolphins. I need to finish off some of the code for their movement. I've got a few glitches to fix, and I also need to create a nice smooth transition for them when they go between the diving movement and then just their general swimming movement, which I think might be a bit tricky, but that's my task for today. I've been working on the dolphin movement all morning now. I'm just about to stop for some lunch in a second, but the movement is now pretty much finished. You can see this dolphin here. It now transitions nicely from swimming to diving, and then when it's finished diving, it has a nice smooth transition back into its swimming animation. I've also been working on the swimming animation, trying to make it look like it's moving its tail up and down as it swims. Obviously it's a bit tricky to do in Equilinox because none of the models are actually rigged, so there aren't any proper animations in Equilinox, but I try to do my best just by rotating the body to make it look like it's swimming. But yeah, in general I'm pretty happy with the dolphin's movement now. Just been continuing to work on the dolphins this afternoon, finishing off any loose ends and making a few small improvements. For example, I've added a very simple particle effect for when they jump in and out of the water, and yeah, they're almost finished now. 5:30 now, and the dolphin species is now pretty much finished. I've just been doing all of its general settings, the environmental preferences, the requirements for unlocking it, and you can actually see I'm just about to evolve a dolphin in the world here from this pike, and here it is, the baby dolphin swimming around happily in the world. So the dolphin's basically done now, and I think I'm pretty much done for today as well. So I'm just going to have some dinner now, and then it's quite a nice evening, so I'm thinking I'll probably go down to the beach later and try and catch the sunset. So today I'm back to work on creative mode, and this morning I've been implementing a new way of choosing the colour for your entities. So you can see I've implemented this colour wheel here, which gives you an unlimited choice of colours. You can also change the brightness of it, and it just makes it very easy to choose whatever colour you want for your plants and your animals. And it wasn't too tricky to implement because I have actually implemented that colour selection method once before, quite a while ago. You might remember it from a video I think 2 years ago, if you've been watching my videos for that long. So I just had to re-implement it and get it working with the new UI, which wasn't too tricky. And I've been having a lot of fun just messing around and changing the colour of things this morning. All afternoon today I've just been working on trying to finish off creative mode and just been adding some final changes. So for example, the duplicate option, you can see that the colour of the icon now matches the colour of the entity that you're placing, which is good. And really the only thing that I still have left to do for creative mode is to sort out the toolbar. because there's still a few things in the toolbar that don't need to be there in creative mode. But other than that, creative mode is now pretty much finished and will definitely be ready in time for the next Equilinox update. There is, however, one thing that I still haven't decided about creative mode, and that is whether all of the species in the game should automatically be unlocked and available in creative mode, or whether you should only have access to the species that you've previously unlocked in the normal mode of Equilinox. Because on one hand, I think most people would probably be expecting all the species to be unlocked in creative mode, and obviously it gives you more freedom, and some people might even want to play the game just to try out creative mode, which is fine. But on the other hand, I'm really worried that it might ruin the normal mode of Equilinox, because once you've tried out creative mode and you've seen all the species, you've tried them all out, I think it might remove some of the motivation to go back to normal mode and actually unlock them normally, which would be a shame, because I spent a long time on the normal mode of Equilinox and I think it's quite good. So I really don't know what to do, and I'd love to know what you guys would prefer. So please do let me know in the comments, and I'll also try and add a poll to this video so that you can vote on which option you prefer. So yeah, that's something I still need to decide. But for today, I'm finished, and I need to start doing some cooking in a minute because I've got some friends coming over for dinner. So it's Friday morning, and today I'm just going to be editing the video together, so that is pretty much going to be it for this week. Before I finish, I just need to give a big shout out to the top Patreon supporters from last month, who were Harold Pena, Danny D, Andrew Witt, Marek Mikolajczyk, Deandro Di Pietro, B. Jamin, Timothy Gibbons, Miguel Diaz-Rivas, Alberto Spina, Sean McCrory and Alexander Chavez. So a massive thank you to you guys, and of course to everyone else supporting me over on Patreon. For this week though, that is it, so thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already, have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.